gentlemen, and welcome to another fantastic weekend of Formula 1 racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Bats. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. We have a full grid lined up, some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. The cars are all lining up on the grid. They're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they going to take it? What are they going to do? Is it going to go deep? Are they going to go? Who knows? The takedown, away we go! DRS is still active, and if Timo wants to get this moved on, he's gonna need to use this DRS zone, because I have a feeling... Oh no, Timo comes under the pressure in the traction zone. I tried to mount up another overtake on 23 trademark. This is right straight to the car. Timo cracks under the pressure once again.
And Timo are oh, it's the pit! Oh no! Oh my god, this so sorry, control myself. So Timo
So what we gotta penalty too, so they can stand at the back together again, just like Timo likes it.
How many times? Did you see how many times Timo tried to get into the pit?
Hello. Nice Friday evening, everybody. Joining us live on EGL for yet another race. Today we're racing Tier 4 in SLR, and the track today is Singapore. And just before this, you saw some epic footage put together by my co-commentator today, Tipsy Bob. Hello.
Hello, Icewind. Hello, everyone listening, and I hope they enjoyed that video. As I said in chat to Mr. Justin there, I'm really proud of that. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully they look forward to this upcoming race we have in Singapore. I think you may have a wee hot lap video to show, Mr. Icewind, if you want to get that ready.
Yep, I'll actually we'll have a look at the so Tier 4, just a couple of words before we get going, is Tier 4 is not full championship tier. It's rather a stepping stone tier for our new guys joining the league, and then a way to the higher tiers for those guys. And every week we have a guest driver in these races, and this week we have Mr. Pretorius. driving the Renault today, and we'll have a look here. Should have the guest driver picture. You should be able to see it on screen right about now. So Pretorius.
Yeah, so you have the details up there for Pretorius.
Yep.
I actually took a few more info on him as well. So the guys there can see on the stream there that he's 7 podiums. So in tier 1, I'm sure everyone knows tier 1 is incredibly difficult tier. So to get 7 podiums in tier 1, you know, you need to be pretty top dollar driver. And Pretorius definitely is one of the top. But also, what I've took a few details on him before we kicked off here. He's actually got 13 top 5 finishes in tier 1, and that's usually P4s. 13 in tier 1. That is incredible consistency. And then his last time in Singapore in tier 1, he finished P5. So I was excited whenever I was watching the stream, whenever you were doing the guest driver ice, because everyone knows your talent, your ability, but I'm equally excited to see Mr. Pretorius, or as Mr. AE, as I like to call him in chat. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does. Also, anyone who's unfamiliar of it, they may have just seen that he has retired, but the format is the guest driver doesn't set a qualifying lap, so he's going to start from last, and my goodness, man, he's going to have quite a challenge, regardless of his incredible ability in this game and in Singapore. It is still quite a challenge to pass anyone in Singapore, and so I think we're going to be looking forward to quite an interesting charge from the back from Mr. Pretorius.
Yep, that's right, and maybe without further ado, let's have a look at the hot lap around this track. Also put together by you, actually. So, so you've worked hard for this one. So, yep, we'll be quiet for a minute here and let Tipsy Bob take us through Singapore.
It's race day once again at SLR, and today's track is a personal favourite of mine. You join us at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in the heart of beautiful Singapore. The track is incredibly technical and really gives the drivers a physical and mental workout. One lapse in concentration will see you collected in the many walls surrounding the track. Let's have a hot lap on board the SLR driver, Pretorius. Yes, indeed, here we are on board the Ferrari of Mr. Pretorius as he's running down into turn 1 of Singapore, just after the black box, dropping down to 2 gears, using a good bit of curb here and a good bit of curb there as well, but avoiding the third curb. It will unsettle the car tremendously. Coming up to this next corner now, just as the curb kind of starts here, that's when you want to drop down your gears, using a good bit of curb as well there. Bring the car around, DRS open, and then it's flat out down to this first proper heavy braking zone. Just as the wall kinks in here, you're braking down to 4th gear, and you can use quite a bit more curb there than what Pretorius used. Again, just before the 50-meter boards there, braking, and then not too much curb will throw the car off. Now this corner is quite tricky, just at the black box, dropping down, but easy on the throttle, or you will of course unset the car. Another very late brake zone here, running nice and wide, and you're cutting back in again, dropping down to the 3rd gear. Avoid these curbs, cut across this curb, it will pull the car around, and then heavy, just at that apex there, kinking heavy on the brakes, bringing the car around in the 2nd gear and get a good acceleration off the corner. And then just after 100-meter boards again, just before the curb starts, braking and avoiding that inside curb. Again, some of these curbs are brutal, and then just halfway around this corner, braking and then getting the car around, running the car half over this curb, and then just at the black box or before it is your brake zone as you guide the car through this little tricky section. Easy to spin here, and then you can use a good bit of curb on these 2 corners and then early as possible on the throttle, and maybe even dropping down to 1 gear. No, not so much for Pretorius, but that completes a lap of the Singapore Grand Prix.
And there we have it, a hot lap on board with our guest driver Pretorius. In the meanwhile, we've got about 10 minutes left in this qualifying session, and the fastest man on track at the moment is Andre. Set that time on the hard tire, which is pretty much the strategy that I would be expecting to see from most of the guys to do. It's pretty clear one stop, medium to hard on this track. The softs die very quickly around here, and especially tire temps are quite a problem. Still, we have one guy on the board who has went for softs as well, Max in the Ferrari. So yeah, a little bit of mixed strategies at least.
Yeah, so I'm not actually quite. I was going to say familiar, which is not the right word. I was going to say I can't really remember in terms of the best strategy for Singapore. I don't know if you've got like a wee graphic made by Netflix.
Actually, I don't, because that's the one thing I've probably forgotten to download for this one. But yeah, it's like the basic strategy is medium to hard. If you're starting in the top 10, if you're starting outside top 10, you can do hard to medium as well. Two stopping is not really viable around here because of the very big time loss. The pit stop is very long on this track, and yeah, we saw it in real life as well. The guys started on their qualifying tires, and then they were just like sandbagging super hard on the first stint, just so they can do one stopper in the race. Yeah, so that's what I'm expecting to see anyway. Medium to hard or hard to medium, most of the guys, barring any front wing damage and all of that stuff. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, man. Regardless of what tier it is, Singapore, the nature of the track just kind of lends itself to incidents happening. You know, if you're trying to go side by side with someone in Singapore and either of you get it wrong, even if you get it right, it's some of the corners in this track are just not ideal for side by side racing. But as I was going to say, the nature of the track kind of lends itself towards incidents, potential safety cars. You know, so you probably will see some people forced into that two-stop strategy, just due to just front wing damage, most likely. Although the different thing about Tier 4 is, I'm sure everyone already knows this, but it's reduced damage as opposed to Tier 1, which is full damage. So the guys can get away with it a little bit more, but we're hoping for good, clean, hard racing.
Yep.
As Flaw has also retired from the session. Nice. What's going on there with him?
Did he? He's still in the pit lane though. So is it just choosing not to set a time? I know he's one of the fast guys. He actually won the Tier 3 race this week, didn't he? So maybe he's just wants to put himself into. Well, up for a challenge. Well, how do you say that anyway in English?
He could be betting on that. There are a multitude of possible reasons why that happened. He just probably disconnected. We don't know. But I know in the past, sometimes whenever I would be on track, I would often gamble. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I would gamble on a possible carnage at the start for a safety car coming out, so I would probably not set a lap time, or even just make sure I don't qualify in the top 10, which is even whenever I try to qualify in the top 10, I don't. But it could be that. We'll see what's going to happen. But in terms of the pole positions, who's going to get it? A couple of guys, although I do watch all the streams, and everyone will often see me on that chat, probably annoying people, but there are a few guys here I'm not quite sure of. So initially, from my experience looking down the grid, obviously you have to expect Legend to be up there, definitely in the top 3. And I would like to say, I would imagine to see, where is he? Cubzone. He's been doing pretty good recently in Tier 4 from what I know of, so expecting him to see him do get a bit up higher, up to the top 5 at least at the end of this call.
Cubzone did really well into SLR Tier 2 last week as well in Kota. And I'm expecting to see him. He's not yet set a time on the board, so he's just basically doing one lap on the mediums. That's what it looks like. And there are some people asking in chat, do I even read the chat?
Yeah.
And asking why is Legend driving here, because he was driving in Tier 2. It is because Legend is actually a reserve driver, so we're in a little bit of a tricky situation at the moment with the tiers because we grew quite insanely much during this season. So at the beginning of this season, we only had 2 tiers. Tier 1, the no assist tier, and then Tier 2, which allows assists. And now we have already 4 tiers, and we'll just have to see where we end up after the season. And yeah. So, at the moment, we just can't house everybody who actually wants to race.
I'm getting Lazzo's making reference to my hot lap video. Although I did kind of point it out, but it was only a matter of time before someone else noticed. In my hot lap video, I did kind of say curb a little bit too often, but alas, that's what you're gonna get.
Yep. So, live with it.
Yeah. It is what it is, as Mr. Chief would say himself.
That is right. And, just trying to see who is out there on a lap. Max has just completed a lap. He's put himself into P3.
Yeah, Andretti is also about to start. Well, in a couple of corners, he'll be starting his lap as well.
Yeah, and Andre is definitely one of those fast guys, despite how he's written his name there. I'm gonna call him Andre anyway. So, yeah. And Giannis actually hops up to P2 there in the Toro Rosso 37.8. Not quite into the 36s yet, which would be a very fast time, but I would think that one of these like legend Andre Kupson possibly would probably get there.
And he's actually done a good representation for himself here on the hards in P7, 3 laps. So he's probably just going to get a bit of a feel for these hards, because he will be obviously depending on them in the later stages off the track or off the race. But I don't know if you're on board yet, Ice, but Andretti is about to start his lap.
Yep.
He's just crossing the start-finish line out to start his lap. And it'll be interesting to see where he puts it, because as you said, he is a fast boy. And if anyone, I say it all the time, but if you just keep a little eye on up in that delta on the top right-hand corner to see the end of these sectors, to see how much he's improving, if at all any.
Yep, micro P 36.9.
Yeah. So I'm expecting to see Andretti, jump up quite significantly. He's up already up half a second already, and he's coming up against Legend here. Hopefully Legend will be mindful of you, yes, and he does get out of the way. This little corner here that Andretti's going around, I think, for me, is actually the trickiest corner in the whole track.
Yeah.
Just nailing that zone.
So easy to end up in the wall there as well.
Oh yeah. The nice use of these corners here. It's a pretty clean lap so far from him. Nice and late on the brakes, of course. You probably will see people pretty late on the brakes in Tier 4 because of the fact that it is an all-assist race. But
a half second
that's
up.
no matter. You still have to do it. You still have to put the car on the track. And so he's just coming up on the back of, who's that? Fubar, yes. And Fubar, you need to move, my man. Ooh.
Not on a lap himself, I think so.
No. Just having a car there. Oh, Fubar, come on, man, move!
Yeah, that's not good at all. So,
Fubar, what are you doing? Oh my God! Oh, and he somehow Andretti still puts it on P2.
Yeah, so Fubar was trying to set him up for a run himself, but yeah, he's now ended up the wrong way around there, and yeah, I'm afraid that's pretty much his own fault. He should have got out of the way a few corners earlier for Andre. Yeah, not too happy with that one, I see.
Yeah. But even for me anyway, if I'm on a quality lap and if there's someone up in front of me and if he's too close, even if he's not directly impeding me, I think most guys are the same. Just having a car and just catching some kind of motion on your eye, it can be sometimes off-putting. That's why I like to just try to get, if I know there's a guy coming up behind me, I like to try and get out of the way as quick as I can. No sexual innuendos, please, in chat, in case anyone else picked up that one.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions, and first of all, hello Lanzo in chat, and greetings back to LOR as well. Which assists are allowed in Tier 4? So we allow everything except pit assists and braking assist, I believe. That's
Yeah, and I think that's the format across all the tiers, tier 2, 3, and 4. Tier 1, of course, is nothing. You're just not allowed anything. It's just everything you see the guys do in tier 1 is all them. So if you see them doing an amazing performance, amazing race, or amazing overtake, that's all on them. No help whatsoever from the game. And really, realistically, I don't want to make this another thing about assists, but I would like to see guys, really push themselves to try and get off the assists, because it is just such a more rewarding experience to even finish in the top 10 in any race with no assists. It's a great experience.
Indeed.
So I'm getting an irony face here from Joel. What's up, Joel?
Look at that legend 36.2. Fastest lap in the session, and he is on provisional pole. We have also Cubson still out there on a lap, so we'll keep an eye on that. He's probably on his only run that he's going to make in this session, so it's all or nothing for him on this one. Coming through sector 2, I don't have any reference to the current lap times, and he doesn't have a lap time himself, so I don't exactly know where he's going, but I think he's probably going to go somewhere up top 5 here.
Are you on board with John? Sorry, because I'm watching. Are you on board with John?
No, we're on board with Cubson, who is about to. And John is actually ahead of him on track, right? Isn't he? Yep.
A P3 from John. Up, he gained 1.2, almost 1.3 seconds on that lap from his previous.
And Cubson as well. Oh, hits the wall, but that's an invalidated time, so he doesn't even set a time in the session. So we have 3 very fast guys at the back of the field today: Cubson, Pretorius, and Flo. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do through the session. And I think that is. Do we still have somebody on lap? Fubar is out there.
Oh, Fubar, yeah, Fubar still out.
Last guy on track, I think, that can set a time still.
He was hard. I think it's also worth mentioning for anyone who isn't aware as well, as we were saying earlier, about these guest drivers from Tier 1. And Pretorius, we've already mentioned about his talent. While they're on the subject in the chat about the assists, I like to point out the fact that Pretorius will be using no assists, absolutely nothing whatsoever. And sometimes, especially if you're this far back, I feel, maybe, I don't know if anyone else is different, but if you're a no assist runner and you're behind quite a lot of assist guys, it can actually be a bit of a challenge, because not only are they being told when to brake, but they can brake much later as well with the ABS. So it does throw up its own challenge just trying to pass a guy who's using an assist. Let alone the track itself. So I think Pretorius, he's despite his natural talent and his success on this track in previous races, I still think he's going to face a bit of a challenge here, trying to navigate his way up through the field.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it is of course a street circuit, but it is also possible to overtake here. So it's not like Monaco where it's. Well, it's not impossible there either, but it's very difficult. Let's say it like that. So, so there is one very good overtaking zone here, which is the first or second DRS straight, however you want to think about it. But the long one. Where I T-boned you at the end of that. So
you just need to let that go, Ice. Let it go. Dan set me up for that one. He was like, I'm going to get rid of 2 birds from 1 stone. And I got wiped out by Mr. Ice.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I've been racing a long time in these games. I'm used to it. No worries. Don't worry about it, man. It's all done.
All right. So
it only took me 3 weeks. Like I said, it only took me 3 weeks and lots of alcohol to forget about it. But it's done now.
Yeah. And then I did it again in Suzuka, didn't I? So
yes, you did. Yeah. Just leave me alone, Ice. If it's not you hit me, then it's Banson Timo.
Yeah. So it can happen with the no assist guys as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get.
So we see Jay Cantus. These names. I cannot say these names.
Giannis, I think.
Him is disconnected. Left the server. So
he's not in the list either. So is he? Probably not gonna get. We'll see if he actually has his car on the grid.
Yeah, he's rejoined. Oh, he's left again.
Oh dear.
But while he's sorting himself out, I noticed there just on the finishing order that two guys have put themselves in a reasonably decent position for this race is Heat and Sunny, or Sunny, however way he prefers it, Sunny.
Yeah.
P11 and P12 on the hards. Now that, if things play out right for them, that could actually be quite a brilliant position for them, starting on the hards. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this first section of the their first stint, effectively. So we'll be expecting to see them probably up near the first and second by the time the first pits come around. But the only problem is they've got I think it's Dr. Uther. I haven't actually checked the tires, but I think he's on softs. So they will have. Let me just try and get these tires on. Where can I see them? There we are. Yeah, let me see. Yes, no, they're all on hards. No, so they've all switched. So Nico and Shaka, Fubar and Mr. Pretorius will be mounting an assault from behind here on these P11 to P14 on the mediums. So they're likely going to try and want to get a move done as early as possible. With the nature of this,
the thinking here.
Yeah, because they don't want to be stuck behind these hard guys. Because as we all know, the mediums will drop off before the hards, and so that advantage that they may have behind them will be lost if they don't pass them soon enough. The guy who's going really adventurous is was that Sanox?
I'll just call him Enemy Killer. That was his old nickname.
Oh, that's Enemy Killer. Oh, right. Yeah, I know Enemy Killer. So he's quite an interesting strat going for the softs.
Yeah, I guess he set a lap on the softs in quali, and now he's sort of stuck on them. So I remember Terror Incognita trying to do a two-stop with the softs in 2SRL last season, and it just didn't work out because they die in like 4 laps. So we'll see what he can do.
Well, Lanzo just mentioned on the stream here, notice that he says he can confirm that Nico doesn't use any assists either, so a big kudos to Nico.
That's right, and Shaka FT as well, so we have some no assist runners in this tier as well.
Yeah.
And the cars
but the one obviously to watch out for will be Pretorius from the back, as the cars are lining up on the grid, Mr. Icewind.
Yep, and everybody is on the grid, and we're gonna get the starting lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the usual lag here before we actually get going, and finally we do get going. So good, looks like a good start from Legend, who will stick to P1 into turn 1, and John is actually up to P2. So a good start from the Red Bull boys, both of them. Are they actually gonna get the P2 and 3 here? Yeah, so John up to P2 and Andre up to P3. And yeah, we see any incidents at the background? Yeah, there's somebody around there. That's
Enemy Killer.
And I think there's somebody else as well.
Heat as well lost out as well in that incident. But Pretorius is up to P11 already. Ooh.
Yeah, that's and what can we pick up down there in the middle of the pack? There's a ward up is maybe holding up the pack a little bit. There's a big gap there, so Pretorius fighting really hard, trying to get up to P10 already, and yeah, he has to yield that one.
Ooh, who was that? Fubar. Fubar lost his.
Oh,
I think he got a little bit of a there.
Doesn't look like he picked up any damage there, so yep, Fubar all the way down to the back of the field because of that spin. And yeah, what else can we pick up? Legend anyway leads the race with the 2 Red Bulls close behind him, John and Andre, and Micro P in the Haas in P4. And let's have a look at quickly on the position changes. So both of the Red Bulls gained 1 position, and Pretorius is already up 9 positions. He's already up to P10, sorry.
It's also that is almost. Oh, what happened there?
Was that lag?
On my screen. Yeah, mega lag.
Yeah, it was the same for me. It looked like he was spinning there, and it's again. Yeah, okay, he's lagging big time. That's what it looks like to me. So Pretorius maybe with some connection issues at the moment. He was experiencing some before the race, so let's hope he recovers from those and actually can race the rest of these guys. He's already harassing Nico for P9. And is he probably gonna try and get a move on here on the back straight? But Nico also gets pretty good tow from Ward up front. yeah, I think Pretorius is gonna have to wait. Yeah, this lag is making it really difficult to see what's actually happening. Is he actually gonna make a move on both of them? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So Pretorius takes 2 cars there, up to P8. So Pretorius is really on a charge here.
Yeah, but Dr. Uther went for a move there on CubsCon and didn't work out for him, and he actually lost out 2 places from CubsCon and Sony, and I think he may have a little bit of damage, not sure, but Shaka is now mounting an assault in the back of him as well. We got a yellow in Sector 2. Not quite sure who that is.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody, maybe just wee bit of
Floor hits the back of Bob. Now they don't lose control, but I seen front wing going there from Flaw, and so on those cards he's going to have a nightmare now. That's his strategy on it.
As you picked up earlier, Dr. Uther is also carrying front wing damage on the right hand side, so I wonder if these guys are going to pit. It's rather difficult to drive around this track without an intact front wing. The leading pack sets the fastest lap of the race, pretty much one after another. And Pretorius all the way already up to P7. So he's just... is he gonna win this race? I don't know. I was kind of expecting that he might be the first guest driver to actually win a race. I was unable to do that, but maybe Pretorius will. I know the guys up front are pretty fast though, so he's got his work cut out for him. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, just watching here, Fly. He's really struggling with that front wing damage. Singapore is a nightmare to race if you've got any sort of front wing damage.
We have,
especially in those hards. That's his strategy completely destroyed, as well as enemy killer as well, getting spun there at the start on the softs.
Dear. Max pitted and he comes out of the pits and hits the wall instantly and picks up another front wing damage. So that's not. It's pretty much Max's race done unless we get a safety car for him. Oh, and he hits the wall again there. So yeah, I think Max is going to be very far back. Yep, unfortunate. So both him and Ward up pitted once already, and yeah, they're quite far down the order.
There's quite a train development here from P11 back to where... Oh, we've got a battle going on here for P15 between Heat and Enemy Killer. Enemy Killer late on the brakes against Heat, and he gets the move done as you would expect on those still fresh softs. But Heat's doing a good representation. Oh, I don't know if this is a bit of a lag here, but these cars are sliding everywhere for me.
Yeah, it's I think Enemy Killer, those tires are just very overheated. Those softs are very difficult to race on this track, especially if you have full fuel load on the car, and yeah, completely cuts the corner there. I think that's a warning, and I wonder how many laps can he actually go on those.
And yeah, he's probably gonna have to pit a bit earlier than would be expected, considering he had that massive spin out, burn those tires up. But Pretorius 4 laps in, and he has gone from practically last to P6, and he can see Mehmet up ahead of him, and he is catching him fast.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, also the Red Bull switched positions there. There was a big fight into turn 5, I think, and Andre overtook his teammate John, and now he's gonna go after his rival Legend, I would call. These guys have been fighting in on many occasions, and there's a car off somewhere in the background there. That's Kebab, I think.
One and Sony are fighting really hard here. They've been going side by side a couple of these corners, and Cubzone is going for the move and a little bit of a contact, but then he had to cut the curb there by Sony, and Cubzone does get the move done. That's the nature about this track. You could be side by side, and in one corner you've got the rights, the next corner he has the rights. One of the reasons why I love Singapore.
Yeah, close racing, and Cubson makes it stick, so he's up to P9 as well. Also gaining quite a lot of positions from the start. He started at the back as well, didn't he? So he's 9 positions up. But yeah, Pretoria is already 13 positions up, and he's all the way up to P6 and catching Meme TV pretty quick. So let's have a look at Pretorius maybe. He is, and we have yellow flags in sector 3. What is that about? There is a Ferrari, I think, going quite slowly there, but no.
Well, Andretti is going to turn 2 here, Ice, and he will have the DRS and a lot of battery on Legend, so he may still move into turn 1 as he flicks it up to mode 4 overtake, and I don't think he's going to, no, he's not going to have a, unless he absolutely yeets it, which he doesn't, playing the safe game.
Yep.
So he's going to have to play it now up to this next DRS section, or no, not the next straight, but he's probably going to have to just sit behind him here. And it's all about strategy. It's all about using that DRS zone right in Singapore. Although we were saying, you know, not impossible to overtake, but it is difficult. And then you look at Mr. Pretorius from almost last to P6 in 5 laps. That's as to be expected, though. We were expected.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have a look at Pretorius as well. He's right on the back of Meme TV here. And, yeah, he's actually going to try and send it here into, I can't remember which turn it is, but yeah, he seems to be alongside and he's going to make it stick, I think. So Pretorius up to P5. Or is he? Meme TV is fighting it back, but yeah, he's going to have to yield. So Pretorius entering the final corners of the track is already up to P5, and then the next car ahead is Micro P in the Haas. That's already for P4. And we're only on lap 5. It's a very long race. Yep.
Manso's asking, Mr. Icewind, can you please use the spectator menu instead of
I actually
F7?
did use that, so I don't know. That's what I've been using. I maybe used it a couple of times, but yeah, I'm not
People
the best
raging in
streamer,
chat,
unfortunately.
Yeah, we have
Andre again on Legend. Possible into turn 5. No, he is going to be back out of that one again. So the fight for the lead between these 3 guys continues, and they're all within 1 second of each other.
We have Mr. Jensen in chat. Hello, Jensen. I know he's pretty much grinding this game coming up to this last race. Well, pretty much the last race in Tier 1. So good luck to Mr. Jens.
That's Andre right on the back of Legend. Almost runs into the back of him there under the braking. Really trying everything to get past Legend. Looks like Andre might have a little bit of a pace advantage at the moment. And also Pretorius right on the back of Micro P again. So Pretorius is really, if he clears Micro P, he's only got the 3 guys ahead of him then, and he can go after them. So this has gone pretty much exactly how Pretorius wanted it, I guess, because he's cleared everybody with those mediums. He chose to start on the mediums instead of the hards. So in the hopes of clearing the pack quickly, and he's done exactly that. So yeah. See Pretorius right in the back of Micro P. Is he going to make a move into turn 1, possibly with DRS open? Yeah, he's probably going to try and stick it on the outside, I think. He's going to be forced there, and is he going to run out of space there? Nope, he's made that stick, so Pretorius up to P4. And now he's got 6 seconds of clear road ahead of him.
Micro, what you would expect, he'd be... Oh, Micro hits the wall! DRS open, but he has practically no battery left at all. So I won't expect to see Micro pass Pretorius anytime soon.
Pretty far back, and I think Pretorius is just going to drive away here. I would expect that. So Pretorius has about 6 seconds of clear road ahead of him now until he runs into the leading pack, which is John, Andre, and Legend. So Pretorius has a really good chance here, because we're not even a third into this race yet.
Cubzon is closing up nicely here to P8 of Nico, the no assist runner, and I'll be expecting to see Cubzon, going for a move here, because he's shown already against a couple of these guys that a little bit of a sniff, and he will send it. So I'll be keeping it a lot of a close eye on this one.
Yeah, I think Cubzon is gonna get this at least on the DRS. He is on the hard tires versus Nico on the medium, so Cubzon has very good pace on these hards. But the difference you can see, well, Pretorius, of course, a tier 1 driver, possibly maybe got a little bit more pace, but this is the difference. They started all the way at the back with Pretorius, and Pretorius has cleared everybody, and he's already up to P4, and he's caught the leading pack by 1.5 seconds this lap as well. 4.4 only the gap, and scary there for a moment, but he didn't run into the back of Nico there.
But Cubzone's got a full battery, so we're gonna surely see an assault here. But although
A little bit of a
Nico gets
Scruffy exit, yeah.
yeah, he might send it though. No, too deep, too far. Yeah, good man.
Yeah, that's right. So Hobson couldn't quite get the exit onto the DRS straight, and he probably is going to be stuck behind Nico for another lap here. Unless he can find a way past him somewhere here in the tricky middle section of the track. This is pretty much the closest battle on the track at the moment, along with the leading 3. So let's see. Hobson is really close now on the back straight, but no DRS here. Is he gonna try and possibly? Yeah, he's gonna have to go around the outside, or maybe he can get the switchback actually on Nico there. Oh, and Nico, they come together a little bit, and Nico almost loses it, but I think that was fair enough. That's what it looked like to me. Hobson just got the better exit there and moves up to P7. And we actually have, so yeah, in the meanwhile we have had Micro P has actually been to the pits. So he is now on the hard tires, and he's gonna go to the end with those. And, yeah, he's gonna be stuck in traffic now though, so that's not good news for him. Oh, there's an Alfa Romeo Fuba. Oh my word, he actually like reversed onto the racing line there, but he ghosted, and that was very dangerous indeed. So gets away with it, but yeah, Fubar, I would guess he has to pit. I guess he hit the wall under the bridge, and or is he gonna go on?
Pit, and he's lost a lot of front left end plate.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to drive that car, is he? So a little bit confused. Why is he continuing out there on track? But,
Come on, loses it as well. Hits the wall. Front left wing is well lost. Fubar just caught passing him.
yeah,
These
so
guys are losing in the traction zones here, coming out of these corners.
Kebab's struggling here this week. He did very well last week in Coda, but maybe Singapore. I know it's a very difficult track to actually master. I'm not very good there myself. So and there's a battle. I think Micro P versus Flaw for P12. Micro P, of course, on those fresh tires, he's gonna have to yield this one. I think there's no way too wide through that corner. And yeah, Micro P are trying everything to get past this traffic. And they both run a little wide there. And,
Up ice, we have Andretti has closed up really nicely to Legend.
yep.
As he gets a very sharp exit there out of that turn 2, I think that is. But it runs very, very deep. And I don't think he's too much of a gap here already. He'll not get the move done on Legends. Legends seems to be able to, do enough on this first overtaking zone to then keep Andretti behind him. So Andrei probably will have to think about sending it in somewhere where Legend isn't expecting it.
And look who's closing in as well in P4. Pretoria's only 1.8 behind, so he definitely has the big pace advantage here, and yeah, he's already almost up to the pack. He's gonna be there at the end of this lap, isn't he? So
he's gonna be right up there. And I mean, I was saying it, kind of singing his praises, so to speak. Tier 1 is an incredibly competitive league with some of the best around that we know of. Well, I know of anyway. Julian and Copy and Wow and Jensen and the likes, Danny. And Pretorius is up there. He's currently he's 4th in the standings in that tier. So yeah, his talent is well known. So yeah, as I said, I was expecting to see this quite an impressive march up the ranks, but my goodness, up to P4, look, sniffing down potential P1 in the 10 laps in Singapore from last is, regardless of the nature of the tier, is
these guys dive into the pits now.
Yeah.
So we have 3 guys pitting. John goes on for another lap. I would guess that those Red Bull boys are on BC together. So Legend, Andre, and Pretorius all into the pits. And where will they actually come out in? I think somewhere down in P9 possibly. Let's see. Is Pretorius being held up here or what's happening? Looked like a very slow pit stop to me.
We've got a little interesting chat.
Yeah, of course, because they double stacked. I'm
Yep.
stupid. So,
Mr. Ice, you
Yeah,
have an
sorry.
interesting chat going on. You have a lot of love coming towards your direction from Mr. Lanzo, saying Mr. Ice is the best commentator.
yeah, and in the next sentence he's complaining about my mic quality, but I mean, it is what it is. So.
It is what it is. Michael P gets himself a 3-second time penalty. I think that is the first penalty we have seen.
Yeah, so Pretorius actually has to now overtake some other guys again, because he double stacked with Legend. I didn't realize that when they actually dived in the pit lane at the same time, so Pretorius is going to have to overtake Sonny and Nico to get back with these guys. And he got held up for about 6 or 7 seconds worth there, because that's about what he's behind them now.
I don't know if you noticed, Ice, but I'm just checking the race director here, and John has a 3-second time penalty. So that is going to play big factor into this end of this race if he's still up there in the top 3. And Micro P has 6 seconds, and Wardup has 3 seconds.
Okay, so that's it. And John actually pits from the lead of the race now as well. So let's see where he actually comes out now with this. I would expect maybe ahead of Pretorius. Legend is coming to the main straight now. And John has already made his pit stop. Where is he gonna come? This is gonna be pretty close, isn't it? So Cubson takes the lead for now. He still has to pit, of course. Legend will take, but is John actually gonna be in P2? No, his teammate will get him eventually. So the positions are pretty much what they were before the pit stops. Except Pretorius lost quite a lot of time and he has to drive up to these guys again. He's about 5 or 6 seconds down the road from them. But
Just
Legend,
another word.
Yeah, Legend seems to be the big winner here, 2.4 ahead of Andre. So I wonder if Andre got held up in the pits or something? Because they were right behind each other when they pitted.
I was going to pick up on Legend there on a reference back to the penalties or potential penalties. There is a potential time penalty, 3-second time penalty coming to Legend because as enemy killer gets 5 seconds for speeding the pit lane. And because I'm just checking the race director, and Legend has 2 warnings already, and his competitors other than John have none. So with only 12 laps in, the chances of him picking up another warning and getting a time penalty is significant.
Pretorius making a move here on Sonny. Sonny gets a bit of a scruffy exit out of the hairpin on the middle of the track, and Pretorius, I think, will make this move stick. So Pretorius up to P5, and now he has once again to drive that 6 seconds up to the next guys. So he's once again got his work cut out for him. But I don't know. The guys ahead actually are like a little bit more spread apart now, so there is not going to be a DRS train. So Pretorius, I think, will be able to pass them a little bit easier at least with these gaps. But he first has to catch them, of course. 6.1 seconds the gap is now to John. And Legend actually right in the back of Cubson. Cubson, of course, is yet to pit. So Legend, Cubson is just gonna let him go. That's what it looks like. No fighting him there. I wonder if these guys are on BC together. Possibly. Anyway, Legend retakes the lead of the race now. So he's up to P1 again.
Knowing when to fight and who to fight is part of the whole package, really, for getting a good finishing finishing position in Formula One. Because quite often you would see guys up to where Cubson is there, 12 laps, and still fighting guys on fresh tires. It depends on who you're fighting, really. And Legend isn't really his battle at the moment, and so that was the overall smartest thing to do, just to let him go there.
We have Wimpy in chat as well. Hi there, Wimpy. Good to see you.
Hello, Wimps.
As well. Mr. EGL himself. Just trying to check what's the closest battle on track. Oh, Micro P gets it all wrong out of the hairpin there. And he was right in the back of Meme TV, but he's now fallen about 1.5 seconds behind him. So yeah, no fighting right there. Andre, however, is closing on Cobson. Yeah, Cobson is still going to have to make his pit stop. He will, of course, go to the mediums, I would expect. So he's gonna be pretty rapid at the end of the race. So we'll see. Yeah, he's gonna drop pretty far back though. We'll see what he can do from there. Ray is gonna get DRS here on Cobson, and I think Cobson seems to be in charging mode. So Andre up to P2. So Cobson chooses not to fight these cars, and I guess that is wisest for his own race at least.
So far, it's been pretty clean so far, Mr. Ice.
Yeah,
Surprisingly, there's no safety cars, which is
Yeah, it's kind of the trend in Tier 4 though. We have had pretty clean races here, so these guys are, as Joel I think said last time, Joel who is managing this tier, said that these guys want to show how it's done for the Tier 3 and Tier 2 boys who are the official Thunderdome tiers, I guess. So,
yeah, I suppose that makes sense too. And Darrow sets the fastest lap so far. Yeah, these guys in Tier 4, as you were saying earlier, it's not really, what did you say, a registered tier in Tier 4. It's more the feeders tier into the other three. So it is in their interest to put on a good show, because whenever you have the tier just above you, when there's quite a few incidents, quite a few questionable moves and drivers, it plays in your favor if you can put on a good display consistently in Tier 4.
As we say that, actually, Micro P runs into the back of Heat there. So a little bit of dirty driving right there, but and he's right in the back of Heat trying to make that move Heat on those old 13-lap-old tires. And Micro P, of course, wants to clear him as fast as possible with those fresh parts. And Micro P is gonna run pretty wide here, and I think he's not gonna be able to do anything on the main straight at least.
Yeah.
Oh no! He runs into this rear wheel, but they get away with it, so he managed to slow himself down just enough to not to take them out. Close. Is he actually gonna make a move here on the DRS straight? Wonder. It's not such a long straight. He might be too far back unless he's really gonna try and send it again. And no, he's gonna have to hold back.
You could argue that if he didn't potentially send that crazy dive initially at the first section there, he would have been closer coming to the DRS zone, and he would have been past them.
Yeah, that's right, and that's pretty much what overtaking on these street circuits is all about. You have to be patient. And yeah, he makes a mistake into turn 7 or whatever that is. So he loses that position eventually anyway. Seems like he is maybe struggling a little bit with those worn hard tires. And when would we expect these hard runners actually to pit? It would be pretty soon, I think. And what I'm also a little bit surprised is that Pretorius isn't really making that big gains against these guys ahead of him anymore. So maybe. Because Pretorius, of course, started the race on completely fresh mediums, and those other guys had done quali on them already. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to conserve some tire life and mount an attack later on in the race. We'll see. He's made some progress, but he's gonna be pretty far away from Legend, isn't he? Let's see what the gap actually is. It's almost 10 seconds to the leader. So yeah, Pretorius not quite on the charge that we saw earlier in the race, but he's probably gonna come and harass John in the next few laps anyway. 2.9 the gap to John. And ahead of John we have Cobson, who still has to pit. So Pretorius and John are running in effective P3 and 5 at the moment.
Yeah, but there still is quite a good bit to go yet in this. Just overall, as we're approaching we are in the halfway mark, and I made reference there about the safety cars, and anything can happen in Singapore. A lot of guys picking up a lot of penalties. You're seeing here, and one thing that can bring out the safety car. I don't know if they have fixed it or not, but people just retire on track. Oh, we get a yellow in sector 2. Who was that? I think that was Max. Oh, and we do have a retirement.
Oh dear,
Just
what's
as soon as I
happened
said
there?
it, these penalties. So will it bring out a safety car, or where did he retire? I
He's on
don't
the
see.
back straight somewhere after the hairpin, so we have Michael P has left the session, so he is basically retired on the straight there. I don't know what's happened there.
It could be just a case of, yeah, I think it was just maybe just frustration because he was picking up quite a lot of penalties, and Singapore is very penalty affected in terms of your final finishing position. So yeah.
And, so actually, in the meanwhile, we have missed that Andre has completely caught up to Legend, so he's only 0.4 seconds behind Legend now. And Andre, who had pretty good pace early in the race in the first stint, seems to be continuing that trend, and he's caught up to Legend again. And he's still, of course, going to have to make that move somehow. These guys are pretty close in pace, so it's not going to be easy. And we have yellow flags again somewhere post sector 2 and 3. Can't really pick up anything there at the moment, so maybe that's just... we've been having this bug lately in the lobbies that we get like some fake yellows.
I've been getting a bug recently that it keeps penalizing me for, quote, speeding under the safety car when I am not. It's happened a couple of times. It never happens to me, and it's happened a couple of times recently, and it's very frustrating. The bugs in this game, very frustrating.
Oh, Andre was really close to Legend on the main straight, but Legend gets DRS from a lapped car as well, so that maybe saved Legend there at least once, but Andre is going to be very close here on the main DRS, main overtaking straight, and let's see if he can actually get a good exit. A little bit wide there, but Andre I think might be close enough here to try and challenge Legend into turn 5. Andre, Legend tries to cover that inside, but I think Andre is just gonna force himself through, but yeah, Legend gets the switchback because Andre runs a little wide into, or deep into 5. And the positions are back to what they were before that. So Legend still holds on to that lead.
With Guitarist running in P4, he is effectively running in P3 because of John's 3-second time penalty. So a podium finish, a podium finishing position potentially for Mr. Pretorius, but the question is, can he catch the top boys?
Do Legend and Andre have any penalties?
No, not that I see. I'll have a double check. As Flaw just gets himself a 3-second time penalty. I'll have a quick check here to see how the penalties situation is.
The field is pretty spread out outside of this top 2 battle at the moment, so we'll just keep our eyes on that for the time being. And Andre again very close to Legend coming onto the main straight. Pretty short straight, so I think Andre is not going to be able to do anything here. He's going to get DRS and close up on Legend again. And shows his nose in there, but try and push Legend into a mistake. Andre slightly out of turn 3, 4, and I think this time he had to lift big time before getting on power, so Andre is gonna be too far back. Legend holds on to their lead for another lap. And Pretorius is slowly but surely catching these guys, but he of course still has to overtake John first before he can go after the leading 2. And let's see what else we actually have down the order. We have a fight here. Flaw challenging Shaka. Taps Shaka a little bit on the back there. Flaw just has to be a little bit more patient, and he's probably gonna get Shaka here on the DRS. Maybe already into turn 1, as he gets a very good run and is gonna try and outbreak Shaka into turn 1, and that's what he does as well. extends the track a little bit, but I guess.
Oh, Andretti sent on Legend! Andretti sent Legend on his contact! And I
dear.
think they're both managed it. Yes, they have both survived, but
Oh,
Andretti did send it.
Legend
He
hits it.
nearly loses it onto the bridge. So that's what I was saying earlier. That, you know, Legend's able to fight him off comfortably on these DRS zones, so he will have to send it. And indeed, that is what he's done. So he is now benefit up to P1. But Legend has got significant ERS, and he's coming up to this DRS zone. And Andretti's kind of shown his cards now. He's shown, I'm going to send it, I'm going to bully you out of the way. And so Legend's probably going to think, fair game, I'm going to have a little go of that. So in this DRS zone, he is closer to Andretti than Andretti has been to him. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of a move here as Andretti defends the inside. Oh, he done reasonably well. Oh, a little bit of a contact. These guys need to be careful. Blue flag's coming up as well. As he's going for the switchback on Andretti. Oh, Legend really got it past. I think Legend's a little bit miffed with that move, although I think it was pretty fair. It was firm racing. He went for it, made it stick. But when Andretti runs a little bit too wide there, and I think he's really feeling the pace here from Legend, really pushing him. And this is going to play in nicely to the hands of John and Pretorius, because they're going to be able to squeeze up on these guys, all being well.
They've caught up by about a second now. So Legend, it's a little surprising. Andre seemed to have maybe the pace advantage behind Legend, but it's always a different thing when you actually get past and then you have to find your own rhythm again. And Andre may be struggling a little bit now. I think neither of them picked up damage though from that little bit of contact they had.
Yeah, no damage. Legend still has got 2 warnings for corner cutting. Andretti has 1. So effectively, in some respects, Andretti is in the prime position here because, well, Legend is more likely to make up a time penalty than Andretti is initially with those warnings. But we're coming around for round 2 ice as Legend is still up on the back of Andretti here, and he gets a better exit here. Just here, he gets a far better exit generally than Andretti, so he's able to use the DRS effectively and ERS, and he's much closer this time. I think he may go for it. He's going to go for the sell in the dummy. Is he going to go across? No, he doesn't. But he's going to go for that switchback, and he cuts across. Does he to the right? Yes. He's going to go for it. No, and he backs out of it. Something I have done myself, and it's a 50-50
it's really difficult to go into that corner side by side.
It's a 50-50 move that you need to be totally sure of the guy you're fighting. But yeah, Legend seems to have woken up here, and since he's been passed by Andretti. But
and Pretorius took John apparently on the main straight. I think I've just noticed it now. So Pretorius up to P3 as well.
Legend clipped the inside waller on that apex, and look at that gap. Already a second. One little tap on the wall, and he's up to a second.
Yeah, and is Andre actually going to make the break here? This is his chance, I think.
Yes, if he can just maintain this 1 second gap, just over a second gap below, he is already catching him again. He needs to keep him out of that DRS zone as Darryl gets another 3-second time penalty. So we've got kind of 2 battles. Oh, Andretti gets very sideways just at the pivotal moment. And I think... there's front wing damage. Front wing from Andretti. He must have clipped the wall. So things are really kicking up here.
On the exit onto the main straight, he just clipped the wall, and yeah, that's gonna cost Andre big time.
So although Legend wasn't able to capitalize on the DRS, the first section that front wing damage from Andretti is going to massively impede him. And he does get the DRS, but he'll not go for a move now. He's too far back. This is going to be more of a catching up and then charging battery. Now, if Legend is as astute as other people, and as we've seen that front wing damage. If Legend has seen it, he will play this smart, because Andretti is going to struggle.
Especially on those left-handers.
Yes, those left-handers, he's going to struggle. There's quite a bit to go yet. Let's see how he plays this.
And Pretorius only 3.4 seconds behind them as well, so yeah, Pretorius still has that chance for this win, but he has to, of course, catch these guys, and I I guess for Legend, the chances to actually clear Andre, we have
Yellow flags again.
and we have some contact at the back there, don't we? That is Fubar in the wall, and he appears to be stuck there as well, so he's not moving, so I don't know what has happened there. Fubar, yeah, gets underway once again, but
Andretti and Thingy are catching up on this ward up.
yep.
He's getting lapped. He gets nicely. Oh, the tap from.
Oh,
I don't know what happened there. Ward up
Safety car,
pulled out.
safety car.
Safety car, safety car.
And both of
Game
these
on.
guys are
I'm
gonna
ready to
pit.
pit. They need to pit, yes.
Pretorius is gonna stay out, surely, isn't he? So he's gonna get the lead. Oh, no, he actually goes to the pit lane as well. So yeah, everybody wants to go on those mediums, I guess, at this point. Is John gonna stay out?
5-second time penalty for Legend after
Oh.
a severe collision. I seen it. I don't know if you caught it. I seen
Where
that.
did it happen?
Just as you come out of the exit of the underpass, the bridge, Wardup was obviously moving out of the way, but then it seems like he went across them again. Andretti hit the brakes because he thought he was going to get collided with him, and then Legend hit him, and so I'm expecting that's probably where he got that time penalty.
Pretorius is gonna be behind John again because they double stabbed once again the Renaults and actually also the
Well,
Red Bulls.
look at the strat. It's interesting they went for the mediums. I think Pretorius has done a far better move here. We're going for the softs.
Yep.
With under 10 laps to go, he has made the better move. Also, it's worth noting, John 3-second time penalty, Legend 5-second time penalty.
Did Andre get
And-
something as well? Or
And
is he,
no, Andre just has one warning, no penalties, and Pretorius has no warnings. So this effectively is game on for Pretorius and Andretti.
Yeah, indeed.
See,
and,
Lanto said he was getting bored. He left too soon. You should never leave in Singapore because things kick off near the end.
Yeah, and we did get that safety car in the end. And what was that safety car actually for? Was it for the Fubar and whoever had contact at the back of the field?
I'm not quite sure, man. I didn't know. I'm quite a bit puzzled myself from what the safety car was for, but sure we'll probably find out later on after the race. But regardless of how it was called, my goodness, this has really kicked things off now. It's going to really interest the viewers and interest me, of course, as well, and us, both of us, as how is this going to play out?
So
What we do
Pretorius-
know is that Yeah.
Pretorius and Cubson both went on the soft tires, so they are gonna be on the charge for the final 5 or 6 laps or whatever we're gonna race after the safety car is in, because we have a pretty spread out field out there still. So I would expect we go on at least another lap or 2 behind the safety car.
Yeah, I would expect at least another, 2 laps, I would say max.
There are all these lapped cars in the middle of the pack as well, so that's kind of unfortunate for them. I think they will not be able to unlap themselves. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Cubson is in the middle there.
Cubson gets a 5-second
Why?
time penalty for ignoring blue flags. Eh?
Cubson?
Eh?
How does that make any sense? It doesn't. That's the answer. But
Did that happen to us before? Remember that happened to us in Tier 1 in Hungary?
Is there some kind of desync going on here that we don't see? Because Cubson is... I don't know.
Yeah, but who did he
he's in
get
this
the blue
normal
flag
battle,
from?
isn't he?
Let me see, I'll check now, see who got that. Normally, sometimes it shows you who you got it from.
Nico picks up a 3-second penalty. The track limits under the safety car bite in once again. Or bite back, I guess is a better word, but yeah, so is it all these lapped cars in between that are causing these weird penalties that we've seen?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. We did see this happening in I think it was Tier 1 in Hungary, where there was a guy crashed out, and then we all got penalties for ignoring blue flags. When,
I
you
wonder
really
if,
shouldn't.
because Cubson has, I think this is, it's Kebabs Williams who is right there in the middle. So did Cubson possibly drive past him and got an illegal overtake on him or something?
Well, he is driving past him, I can see, through his ghosted car, but no, it was for ignoring blue flags, and I don't see why he would
I
get
think
that
it was for
because
ignoring yellow flags. And
no,
I think,
I'll double check.
Okay, but I think it might have been an illegal overtake on because you still have to hold formation under the safety car even if you have these lapped cars in between there, because the game doesn't allow them to lap themselves.
You're bang on. Nice. He's got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags.
I think that means an illegal overtake, but I'm not sure, but I think it is.
I think you may be right.
So it's
Because he was passing Kebab quite a few times there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of stupid that the game doesn't allow those guys to unlap themselves, but
I would expect to see it coming in. If not now, he's passing Kebab again. I mean, I don't know.
I think those guys might be a little bit confused as well. What's what is like the right way to do this? And yeah, we're gonna go on for another lap.
Yeah. See, I've seen that happening recently as well. Whenever the safety car came out, and I was expecting the lapped cars to go past me, but they didn't. So really, they should let the lapped cars pass. But it's
it's
that's
weird.
this game for
I
you.
don't know why it doesn't let them do that. It's because I think I've also seen a race where they were allowed to.
Yeah, I've seen it too. Yeah,
but
I have seen
you
it.
Would have the. I think there should be a message if they were allowed to do it. So
No, there is. I've seen it happening before, and it normally pops up saying lapped cars can now pass or something to that style or factor. But I don't think it's going to happen.
In the race or something.
Could be. But I would expect to see the safety car coming in this lap. Because who's at the Ferrari? I think at the back there, so we're waiting to catch up. After that, they will all be in order. So we're going to get a a bit of a 6-lap, maybe even 5-lap sprint to the end, and really we're looking at Andrea or Pretorius to win this race. Based on purely just the lack of penalties or the non-existent penalties.
Yeah, I guess for Andre, it's if his teammate John can hold up Pretorius at all, that's gonna be key for Andre, because Pretorius will be very, very, very fast on those softs for at least a couple of laps. They do tend to drop off a little bit, but we'll see. And I would expect maybe after the safety car is kind of lagging for me. That looked very weird, but we've seen it all in this game.
Safety car in this lap. So just remember, guys, Legend has penalties, John has penalties, Cubson has penalties, Andrea and Pretorius have none. So it's game on.
Yep, and Legend holding the back up, and let's hope we don't see any contact here. We sometimes tend to see those as well. Legend shouldn't be allowed to do that. Actually, you should maintain your pace if you're leading.
Correct. Yeah. So, you can't dummy a start.
He's really slowing down now in the final corners, and let's see when he decides to go for it. And I think he's gonna go for it right now. Yes, and it's a good start from Legend. And is Pretorius actually gonna try and instantly get past John here on the main straight? I think he's too far back. So no position changes at the safety car restart straight away anyway. What else can I pick up there? Yeah.
Well, the Ferrari of Max got completely wrong out of that first turn, and
John penalty as well. Another one.
John, that's 6 seconds for John.
Pretorius close, but not close enough, I think. And these lapped cars are kind of causing havoc there in the middle now. And it's very confusing for those drivers, I think. But the leading 4 are through those lapped cars now, and Flo picks up a penalty as well in P10.
See, the question is, does Pretorius know the penalty situation in front of him? I'm sure he does.
He knows John for sure, at least. I don't know if he has somebody crew chipping him or something. But John, of course, I would expect him to know. And Pretorius not able to make that move straightaway yet anyway, so I don't know. Andre is in a pretty good position here. Does Andre have any warnings? Is he...
Yes, he's got one warning. One warning for Andre.
So Andre is, I would say he's in a pretty good position here because he definitely doesn't have to worry about tire wear or tire temps in general at this point in the race. In the meanwhile, Pretorius is on those softs which are very fast, but he does have to still be a little bit careful with them. You can't just eat them because they will just melt, especially on this track. Legend fastest lap of the race in the lead, but the pack is very close. Cupson is also hanging onto this back, so but I think he also had a penalty, right? So we'll see what ends and Flo into the pits. I wonder if there was some contact at the back there.
Ignoring blue flags for enemy killer, and DRS will be activated in next lap.
Yeah.
So it'll be game on.
Duck, isn't he?
Yep.
Pretorius right on the back of John, but still unable to pass. It is of course very difficult. Has Pretorius managed to save his tires enough to actually make a move here? Will he be able to challenge Andre if he can actually get past John here? Cupson is also on this, so this is basically a 5-way battle. The rest of the guys are further down the road. My standings are actually saying that Meme TV is 1 lap down, but that's not really true, I think.
Oh, Darrow sending it up on. Oh, Darrow tried to send it up on Nico, and he clipped the apex on his rear left and losses out.
Yeah. So, and very confusing to follow this with those lapped cars in the middle there, but we'll do the best we can. Oh, John, another penalty, so that's already up to 9 seconds for him, so he's gonna be somewhere down in P5 or 6 at this rate. Andre, fastest lap of the race, and John has actually dropped from the back of Andre here, so do these guys get DRS now? So I think Pretorius might have his chance on this lap, because John is not gonna get DRS from ahead of him.
Yeah, so he should get DRS now. Yep, DRS is active, here we go.
Pretorius.
John.
Yeah, go for it, Tipsy.
Yeah, so I was just noticed John McKay didn't look like a double move there, but John runs a little bit too wide, and he's going to try and cover it off the inside to Pretorius, but John wide. Oh, there's a crash between Andretti and Legend! Crash between Andretti and Legend, and we're asking for trouble between those two guys. They were battling very, very hard, and Pretorius is the big winner here. No penalties, no warnings. His main rivals taken out of pretty much the race. Well, not quite. And John behind him, Cubson behind him, lots of penalties. Pretorius is going to get a couple more laps to go, and he is going to complete a quite accomplished finish from pretty much last to win in Tier 4. Although I don't want to get too premature, because anything can happen. But he has been he has been very accomplished and very polished so far these 28 laps. And yeah, man, that incident between Legend and Andretti. Well, we've seen it. We've seen the battle earlier on between Andretti and Legend. Andretti did send it on him. Kind of seemed to rattle Legend a little bit. Very aggressive, those guys, really going for it. Gets the move back done again in the pits, and then boom, contact.
Yeah, and Andre missing a big chunk of his front wing on the left-hand side. I think that's orange wing damage, and he's really understeering into the final corner there. And yeah, he's all the way down to P6 now. And Legend actually, I think, got away without damage. His front wing looks intact at least. So very lucky for him to get away without damage. But yeah, Pretorius just has to keep this lead. John is actually really putting pressure on him. He does actually have a lot of penalties though, so this is not really a real fight, let's say.
Yeah, but if John gets close enough to make a move on the DRS, I think Pretorius should just let him go. Don't fight him. He's got a mountain of penalties. You know, you don't have to win in the race. You know, there's no shame in it. Let the guy go. Let him get the on-track win. You will, of course, get that win on penalties.
I think Pretorius is gonna be able to just just control this though. I think he does. He's pretty low on battery though. That's a little bit surprising. Why is Pretorius in mode 5 here? I'm not quite following that, but yeah, he's still leading this race, and I think both of the guys behind him do have penalties, right? So Cobson as well has.
Cobson, yeah, 5 seconds, probably more even now. John,
gets really sideways Cobson there as well, so he's pretty much fallen off the back.
Legend, lots. Well, no, Legend at least. No, does Legend? No, Legend. He does. Yes, he's got a 5 second as well for severe collision.
Oh,
Pretorius.
Yeah, so Pretorius is basically pretty much in the clear. John is actually very close to him, so what Pretorius is gonna do here, I think he might just let him go. Oh! Pretorius is maybe struggling with those softs, I don't know. And look at this, I think John is actually gonna take the lead on track, but Pretorius, as we said, doesn't really need to fight this one. He's gonna win this on penalties anyway if he can just keep it on track.
Yeah, John has a minimum of 6 seconds. I actually think he may have 9.
Yeah, I think he has 9.
I'm certain he has at least 6.
Yeah.
So just don't fall behind him 6 seconds, Prix, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so Pretorius just hanging on to the back of John. I think Pretorius might be perhaps struggling a little bit with those soft tire temps. It's so easy to do. So he's just maybe cruising home here.
Yeah, but if I was him, I would be trying to charge that battery this last lap.
Yeah.
Just as a wee banger, just in case, you know.
Yeah, Cobson is probably gonna hold on to P3, isn't he? Legend is 4 seconds down the road, but we'll see. We have yellow flag once again in sector 2. There's a Ferrari off the road. There is
Max, and then Fubar also lost it. And Flaw has left.
Yeah, it's not gone Max's way today.
But we are on the final lap of the Tier 4 feeder series of SLR. Yes?
Yeah, Andre hit the wall again, so he's also missing his other half of his front wing now. And he's gonna really struggle to hold on to that P8 even on track at the moment. Pretorius 1.2 seconds down from John, so I think those softs might be a little bit overcooked, but he does have quite the safe margin.
Oh, it's a safe margin, clearly. Cubson already almost 3 seconds behind, probably suffering the same fate as well on those tires, with lots of penalties. Legend as well, lots of penalties, and John, lots of penalties. So this is, unless Prey does something drastically bad, and the remainder of this sector 2 and 3 are coming up, we are looking at a very well expected, I think is a fair thing to say, an expected podium at least from Mr. Prey.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and he's basically his two main rivals, Legend and Andre, came together and threw away their chance of a win today. So John is going to cross the line first. I guess the question is going to be, is he going to be able to hold on to P2 here? We'll see in a few seconds.
I don't think so. If what's that? Cubson's got 5,
John,
6, 7. No, I think he's going to lose.
Yeah, John is going to cross the line first, but yeah, he's going to lose it on penalties to Pretorius, I think. Yes, by 6 seconds. And Cubson across the line, and he does stay in third. So John keeps P2.
Legend up to P4 from, of course, P5.
Sonny up to P6 as well, so...
Yeah, so I said at the start there, Sony and Heat were going to be in a good position for getting good points today on that strategy. They did P11.
Andre hits the wall, and yeah, he's completely lost his front wing on the final lap, so he's down to P11 in the end. So basically, from the chance of winning the race, he unfortunately falls away from the points finishing positions. So yeah, tough one for Andre in the end. I didn't quite see what happened with the contact between the both of them, so yeah, we'll probably get some POVs later on.
So Mr. Pretorius did the hot lap drive for me for Singapore, and here he is from last to first, and I think, if I'm correct, he is the first guy as a guest driver to complete that, isn't he? Oh yes,
Yep.
actually, Wimby has it in the chat. First guest driver to go from last to P1. Congratulations, Mr. Prey.
Yeah, that's true. And I myself got to P2, I think. Yeah. And,
So close, so close.
Anyway, Pretorius wins from 19th on the grid, and John, with a pretty good fight back at the end there, with 9 seconds of penalties, holds on to P2. Cubson does get to the podium eventually, so that's he's probably going to be pretty happy with that one, because he before the safety car he was quite far away. And then
if not for Pretorius being here, the driver of the day would have went to Cubzone just for that 18 to 3rd. I don't know if we're giving out drivers of the day for Tier 4, but I think it has to go to Mr. Prey.
Yeah, probably. I would have to say, because he just made no mistakes out there today, and yeah, even with all the double stacking and stuff, and yeah, just waiting it out. Legend and Andre eventually making contact and losing out there. So yeah. Do we have any other like Sonny did a pretty good drive today from 12 to 6 as well. But
yeah, Sonny and Heath both started on the cards.
Shaka from P16 to P8. I'm really happy for him. No assist driver as well.
Epic. That's what we like to see. Yeah, some good driving there. I have to say, I enjoyed good spells of that race. Were a lot of penalties, quite a lot, to be fair. There were quite a lot of penalties, and some guys were just really struggling. I know the Ferrari of Max and Fubar were having quite a horrid day today in Singapore, and it does have that nature about it, Singapore. Some days it's for you, and some days it's against you. But yeah, the outstanding drive is of course Mr. Pretorius. From pretty much last to P1, it's a very confident drive as well, not getting any warnings from what I saw.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done, Mr. Pretorius. Congratulations.
So I'm afraid we're gonna have to keep the interviews a little bit short today, because I'm out of time and I'm mainstreaming. But we'll if somebody wants to talk to us, hop over to Gentleman's Lounge. We have a few guys there, so maybe we'll just let's just drag those guys in. We'll take those guys who are already there. So
yeah.
Hi there. We're
just
gonna bring. Sorry. Yeah. What did you want to say?
I was just going to say quickly there, he does make a good point there on the chat that he did get spun at the beginning to 19th and still recovered.
Yeah.
Great drive.
Yeah, so joining us on chat, Shaka and Sonny. Good drive from both of you in the end there. So Sonny finishing in P6 and Shaka in P8. So maybe starting with Sonny, who finished a little bit higher. How was it out there for you today?
Oh, it was not bad. Once again, I didn't put lap on mediums in the quali, so I started P11 because of that. So I could probably go a bit higher on the grid. Other than that, I was happy with the race pace because I picked up some damage on the first stint, but I started on hards and it turned out to be good decision considering there was a safety car in the end and I didn't need to pit. So
yeah. So did you ever believe that you would actually get the P6 in the end there?
Yeah, I was hoping for more, but I got involved in some incidents that are like too stupid to go over one by one. But yeah, there was potential for even more, I guess, after the restart. And yeah, I could even pit for softs without losing position, which I didn't. For some reason, I didn't make decision in time. So I guess there was potential even to go for podium, considering the penalties.
The soft guys were struggling quite a bit at the end there, though. So
yeah, but it was just 5 laps on softs, I think. So I didn't had penalties at restart. I picked one up after. So yeah, there was some potential, but who knows? You know, there's always what if.
All right. So Sonny finishing in P6 from P12, I think, and then another guy. You guys were in VC together, Shakalaka. Started in P16, I think, and you got up all the way up to P8. So good result for you in the end.
Oh yeah, hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I was away. Is this interview or what?
Yeah, this is interview indeed. So
Oh.
you're live on stream, and
Oh.
just talk about your race. How did it go for you?
Yeah, it was pretty good race. I'm happy because I could keep up a little bit with the pack. You know, normally I don't have the pace, but this time it wasn't bad. I did damage my wing on the hards on the second stint, and that I was losing so much time, so I decided to pit. And right at that moment was the safety car, so it helped me out massively.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just tried to stay with the cars in front. They were all on softs, so I was on the mediums. And basically, I think I got like 3 positions at the end just because of penalties. I didn't have any penalties, so pretty happy with that.
Yeah, good result for both of you in the end, and sticking it out really helped, and the late safety car, of course, got you guys.
Yeah,
to
that
play
helped.
for points. So yeah, so you guys are happy for that. So what are your or I know actually neither of you is actually going to be able to vote for the next track, I guess. So we'll
you're
No.
have to save that question
Yeah.
for somebody else.
we barge our way into the race.
You guys are gonna drive Abu Dhabi next week anyway.
Yeah, correct, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Have to start practicing. I don't know that track very well, so it's gonna be hard.
All right, so yeah, I'm running a little bit short on time, so thanks, guys. Just Tipsy Bob, do you have anything for these guys, or?
No, man, it's all right. I don't want to delay your stream too much, so I'll keep them just as you have them now.
Yep. All right.
Thank you,
So thanks, guys, and we'll
Good job,
see you
boys.
next
Good
week.
job.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right, and let's at least talk to John, who kept that P2 in the end after all. So hello, John.
Hello.
You are joining us live on stream in the interview channel with me and Tipsy Bob. And yeah, so a very hard race for you, I think. And
Yeah, it was a pretty hard race. I got a lot of penalties on my second stint. Like, I wasn't feeling the hards at all. Like, mediums felt way better. So when the safety car came out, I put mediums, and I saw Proteus putting like softs, and I was gonna like, you can't get like softs in a good condition to the end of the race. So I overtook him in like the last lap. So.
yeah.
But I had a bunch of penalties, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, but P2 in the end anyway. And Pretorius is,
Yeah.
as we mentioned in the comms, he's tier 1 driver and actually doing pretty well in the championship as well. So he's one of the really fast guys.
Yeah, like I'm still happy with P1 on track, you know.
Yeah. All right, and yeah, of course, your teammate Andre and his rival Legend collided a little bit, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm not pretty sure what happened there. Like, I was on voice channel with Andre, and they were both like pretty feisty, you know. Things got out of hand.
Yeah, I can imagine. So maybe we'll see some reports in the channel. We'll
yeah, probably.
All right, so yeah, anything from your side, Tipsy Bob, to John?
Well, John just pretty much confirming what I was saying on the stream. Whenever we seen that Legend was able to defend from Andretti, reasonably comfortably on the DRS zones, I called it that he is going to have to make a move when he doesn't expect it. And we seen it. We seen Andretti go for that move on Legend. It was a pretty clean, or fair move from my side. Bit of contact, yes, but it was a fair move. And then from that point on, we just seen Legend really, like, you could see in the style of his driving and his steering inputs that he was a little bit annoyed by it, maybe a lot annoyed by it. And yeah, he was just harassing the back of that Red Bull. And then, of course, we seen there was a contact between them just before I think just after the safety car came out, or just before. And Legend got that 5-second time penalty, and that must have really just put him out of joint, really. He got the jump on him in the pits, and then it was just game on again. And we were saying, John, in the chat and the commentating, that it's only a matter of time before something happens between these guys, because they're driving not their driving style, because it was pretty clean, but just their inputs were showing that there seems to be a little bit of disagreement between how each other is driving, and it's only a matter of time before something happened. And then, of course, we did see it. So yeah, it's good to hear from yourself, John, from first hand, that you actually heard that there was a little bit of a feistiness going on. So a potential bit of rivalry kicking off in Tier 4. Who knows?
Yeah, they're pretty keen on beating each other. Like, I wasn't expecting to keep up with them in the first stint, but somehow I did. So yeah, pretty happy for the result.
It was just a shame, John, that you picked up all those penalties on your second stint, because I think on the first stint you didn't even get a warning.
I was like, my first stint, like my mediums are like so good on this track, and I felt good on the first stint, but hards, like, nah, I can't.
But
I can drive them probably.
You still got the on-track win, so
I'm happy with on-track win.
And then, of course, the P2. So it's a good job, man, and overall, well done. Yeah. Over to you, guys.
Yeah.
Icy.
So
Icy boy.
is my mic not waking up again? So sorry. So John, one more race to go in Tier 4 season as well. What's your hope for the next track?
Australia.
Australia. Okay. Yeah. Melbourne.
Oh, hang on. Wait. I missed that. So are you guys, are they nominating what track they want to race?
Yeah, they're voting for it. So
guess what? The guest driver in Australia is Tipsy Bob.
is it? Okay. So
Yeah.
then that's
Let's
definitely
go.
the best one.
All right,
Let's go indeed.
I'm looking forward to racing you, man.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if that's what they end. I don't know if I'm actually supposed to say that. Am I supposed to reveal that, Ice? Maybe I'm not.
I don't think you are.
Oh well, it's
Okay. Look, forget everything I just said. Just pick your track you want to race on, and we'll see who wins the guest drive.
Just make sure it's Australia.
No.
All right. So, yeah, thanks, John, and
No
we'll
problem.
see you next week again.
Good job, man. Good job.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
And I think we'll have to call it a day there. So, yeah, it was an interesting race. We did get the safety car late in the race as well, and yeah, Pretorius, how do you say, prevailed in the end. So.
Yeah, it was a slow start. Usually you sometimes get quite feisty starts in Singapore, but it was reasonably clean. In fact, it was overall a clean race, really. There was a few interesting moves guys were taking, which somehow they avoided carnage, and who would have expected that the main issue that were between two drivers were the top two. But there we have it. Overall, it was actually quite a clean drive. So well done to all the guys taking part. Realistically, the only thing that really gave people issues was their time penalties.
Yeah.
Then, of course, that safety car came out, and we got quite an interesting, even exciting at some points, end to the Tier 4 Singapore race. So, yeah, man, it was a good pleasure to be a part of it with yourself. Happy to fill in for the boss man himself, Mr. Chief.
Yep.
And yeah, I'll leave it over to you, man.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you already said it, but thanks for helping me out today. And so on EGL, we still have plenty of racing to come this weekend. We have Tier 1 tomorrow at Brazil, and then we have both of the two SRL races, Tier 2 and Tier 1 on Sunday at Brazil as well. So 3 more races to go this weekend. And yeah, I suppose on that note, thank you everybody who was watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.